Tehseen, before I come to who the BJP might make Chief Minister, I must ask you, who do you blame in the Congress? Because this isn't only about Maharashtra, though that in itself is big enough. It's the third consecutive defeat for the Congress in a state election. But from Jammu and Kashmir to Haryana to Jharkhand, where really your party or the party you support has been lifted by the tailwinds of the JMM, to the debacle in Maharashtra, it's been one set of bad headlines after the other for the Congress. Who do you blame?
Thank you, Barkha, for having me on the show at the onset. Happy Constitution Day and tributes to all the martyrs of 2611. You see, the question that you're asking is who do you blame? And it's obviously with who becomes the Chief Minister of Maharashtra, whether it's Fadnavis ji, Eknath Shinde ji, or Ajit Pawar ji. Frankly, who becomes Chief Minister, how does it matter to me? I am not becoming Chief Minister. And I say I mean I'm a Congress supporter, I'm anti, before that's made controversial. So the Congress isn't becoming Chief Minister. So how does it matter who becomes Chief Minister? Ban to wo rahe na. So I saw the very erudite Sanjay Raut ji, who routed the MVA. And there is a famous saying by Ravi Kishan. It's from Eastern UP, so Yashwant will understand it. I will. Zindagi jhandwa fir bhi khamandwa. I mean, it means, and if you translate it in Mumbai language, Raut sahab niche fir bhi tangdi uppar, tangdi is leg, fir bhi pair uppar. वो कह रहे कि एकनाथ शिंदे has been taught a lesson, अजीत पवार has been taught a lesson. भैया हमें दाल चावल नहीं मिल रही, उनके घर में बिरयानी पकेगी कि नहीं पकेगी, हम उस पर डिबेट कर रहे हैं. हम भूखे अवन से मर रहे, हम भूखे हैं और हम डिबेट कर रहे हैं कि उनके घर पे बिरयानी नहीं बनी. मतलब look at the parallel universe we are living in. And I've said this to you, and I will come back on your show again. Madhavan was right. The joke he cracked earlier on me off camera, he's right. There'll be another debacle. I will come back again. We will say the same thing again, and nothing will change. Yashwant said, and he told me, Haryana and Maharashtra looks good for the Congress, but he added a caveat. He said, as long as the Congress doesn't score set votes, it's scored. Throughout the elections, Barkha, and why should I blame only Raut again? Raut cannot be one factor that lost or defeat. Throughout the elections, you're fighting on who will be the Chief Minister. The Shiv Sena UBT, this alliance is such a disaster. It's finished the Congress off in the state the Congress was born in. Now you may argue Lok Sabha, etc., whatever happened. That is a completely different ball game. Shiv Sena UBT had lost its core voters. Its Hindutva voters went with BJP. Its Marathi Manus voters went with Shiv Sena, Eknath Shinde ji. They were banking on the Congress Muslim vote. That's the first factor to it. Secondly, you see, there is one analysis that is very, very wrong that is being done, that Hindutva polarizes. No, Hindutva by itself cannot polarize. If anything, there was more polarization or attempt to polarize in Jharkhand with outsiders, etc. Hemant Soren didn't fall prey to it. What polarizes is a counter polarization. So there was a Mohtarma and her Shauhar who went to a Maulana Sahab who is pro-Taliban, who said women should not be educated. Mohtarma madam made the election all about her, and Shauhar Sahab made it all about himself. Ultimately, it cost the MVA. There was another Maulana Sahab who wanted to do Gazwa Hind. मतलब आपके पैर में चप्पल पहन, आप चप्पल ठीक से नहीं पहनते, आपको गजवा हिंद करना है, उनको जाकर मिले. Those images have really, really hurt the MVA. So the counter polarization then worked, and more than butting it or cutting it, the AK to CFA worked. You played into the BJP's agenda. I told every single MBA leader, not one am I leaving out. Those letters that the ulema had written, please reply to that letter and said, we do not vote for us if you're voting on religious lines. Vote for us if you're voting for a party that can make Maharashtra progress. You will win the elections. No, they didn't write that. You are flirting with these people. You knew you would get a little bit of the Muslim vote.
Who is to blame?
Everybody. The strategy, lack of coherence. Sanjay Raut, of course, for continuously opening his mouth. These Maulanas, and even at the micro level, this Mohtarma madam and her Shauhar, you see till the 16th round the EVM is okay. 17th round EVM got spoiled. Ye to naya funda hai. I think I've never heard this funda. Once I heard funda, EVMs are not okay, which is fine. Then I heard EVMs are rigged. Now the EVM from 17th round was rigged because Shauhar Sahab didn't take a lead. I mean, can you believe this? Then you blame Chandrachud for it. Chandrachud's judgment had already come before the Lok Sabha elections and not come before the Lok Sabha elections. So the bankruptcy, the idioticity, and again the style of talking. You see, Barkha, Maharashtra is a very cultured place. It's a very cultured place. Even women education movement started from there. Just speaking like a street bully, this like a street thug. The way Sanjay Raut ji etc. speaks, people don't like it. People, they think you've not even come in power. and this is how you're going to behave. This is how
Okay.
arrogant you're going to.
Okay. So you
So
didn't
how
name the but you said everybody and you named Sanjay Rao. Do you blame Rahul Gandhi also?
everybody. You see, the strategy should have been when that silly letter Yasin Malik's wife wrote to Rahul ji never got that letter. Why do you have to debate on that letter? Let Yasin Malik's wife write him a letter like Barack Obama. You say we are talking about cotton farmers, soybean farmers. Please keep the letter and use it as a toilet paper. You should have shown attitude there. There you are not showing attitude. And I'll just tell you how badly the miscalculation. When India Yashwant will testify on this. Initial data shows Milind Deora got approximately 25% Muslim votes in Worli. Now, this means all Muslims did not vote for MVA. That means Bal Thackeray's grandson got saved because of Raj Thackeray. Bal Thackeray's grandson did not get saved because of the Muslims. Muslims chose to vote a Milind Deora over Bal Thackeray's grandson. Let's be very clear on this. So that's the points that I want to make. But Yashwant, would you? Yeah.
Before I come to Yashwant, the reason I just want to come to Rajat right after is because Rajat, you remember right after the Lok Sabha verdict, we were talking and you were very plain spoken and you said the BJP has wrecked Maharashtra. Maharashtra is a mess. And, I am trying to understand here what happened from the time that BJP's own supporters agreed that Maharashtra was a mess. Ajit Pawar was seen to be a weak link. Ajit Pawar has emerged with extraordinary strike rate. He's proven everybody wrong. How has BJP repaired what you once called the wreckage of Maharashtra?
Hello, Barkha ji. If you remember, the last time when I was here, I made that statement: Maharashtra politics is an epic wreckage, and yes. I'm coming after that comment, and after 3-4 months, I'm coming back to your show where the wreckage has shifted. So it took 4 or 5 months or so for shifting the wreckage from one side completely to the other side, and a lot has happened in these 4 months for the BJP. And you were expecting that the MVA is going to pick up the momentum from where it had sort of ended after the Lok Sabha elections and take it to another level. But throughout these 4 months, among all the mistakes that the MVA did, the glaring thing was a completely missing political campaign that you can unleash against the incumbents. I believe the BJP was waiting that one good day around Diwali, before Diwali, after Diwali, at some point they are going to start their campaign. But throughout the election, they did not pick up the campaign. One thing that used to work for the Congress party were those guarantee cards. They used to at least knock every door. That used to become one logic for them to approach every household, knock the doors and explain to the people that this is what we stand for. This time, it's not a question about distribution. They did not even get the guarantee cards printed also. So they were so confident that I don't have to do any canvassing, any campaign strategy, nothing at all, and I'm going to win no matter what. And this is the reason why they were counting their chickens before the eggs hatched. And if you look at the discussions and deliberations, it was only about who will become the chief minister. That was their the core interest around which they wanted to align their strategies. And I think BJP. After this, this shocker that happened during the Lok Sabha elections, they went to the drawing board. They realized that, if there is a rural distress, if there is a general angst against inflation, against joblessness, what can you do in a short period of time? What are the immediate fixes that you can do? So I remember even in February, this thought process was there. A direct cash transfer scheme has to be deliberated upon. But surprisingly, the then Finance Minister Ajit Pawar and his bureaucracy had shunned that idea down. It did not see light of the day, and there was a lot of pushback from the administration. And the bureaucrats' point of view was that this is not a UP Bihar where you start distributing money and it's going to help the state or the state finances. We will use it for capital investments and all. So that was the thinking. But come June, July, that thinking switched. And the same bureaucracy was actually pushed against the wall to actually implement those schemes. There was a lot of pushback even from the banking officials. The banking officials literally were pressurized to no extent to actually ensure that these schemes are implemented. If you were to see the mood in these 3-4 months, you should look at those bank branches, those rural bank branches. Women were thronging into these branches, like they were coming over and over again to ensure that all of their accounts, like the Jan Dhan account, etc., which has been lying dormant all this while, were activated again, so that there is more cash transfer which could come in during these schemes. Last bit that, this was Eknath Shindeji's, perhaps, I think he led this idea, that instead of giving 1,500 each month, he bundled it together. So he had one chance to distribute money. So he retrospectively implemented that scheme from previous 3 months. Also, forward installments were bundled together. So a 6-month bundle was distributed at one go. So that was a substantial amount. And once that substantial amount reaches, at least, that anger was blunted to a good extent. The anger against inflation and related affairs was addressed. And I believe that, first of all, gave BJP a reason to go back to the public with a positive agenda. And, and then talk about the other things which can unify the people beyond the divisions of caste. And that happened through its unifying slogan of Ek hai to safe hai and all of that. So this is
let me bring in Yashwant. Yashwant, you've already said on my show that this movement is bigger, according to you, than Mandal Ka Mandal. It's about we the women. The women emerging is sort of the finally as a Y factor. I was going to say an X factor, a Y factor in politics. My question is this: how do we understand Ajit Pawar? Nobody has actually explained that part of the puzzle to me. Are you able to understand it better now?
Well, I think there are two factors in his performance. Number one, a big number of his winning MLAs were also, very strong independent leaders in their own constituencies. So they were like literally strongmen of those places, number one. Number two, I think he got benefited by the headwinds, which were the Sena and the BJP, in that way. And a lot of BJP voters who actually did not go out and vote during the Lok Sabha election, I guess that that part also kind of came around. Yaar, ye to haarenge, apne hi log haarenge kind of thing. And they came around and voted for them. But the real thing was the huge jump in the turnout, particularly in the female turnout. And whenever there is a jump in turnout, Barkha, anybody who has a good cadre and if the organization decides, I think that has a lot to do with the better turnout numbers. Now, happens to be one election, not just the first one or the last one, where a higher turnout has resulted in a pro-incumbent verdict. So obviously, that's another one which tells you which organization worked better in terms of mobilizing their people, taking them to the booth and everything. So, yeah, I mean, female voters, first, we have seen Madhya Pradesh and now this one and also Jharkhand, most importantly. In fact, Jharkhand, I am so happy with the result, I can't tell you, because suppose if Jharkhand would have been won by the BJP, then I think this female factor would have got diluted in the media narrative कि ये तो Bangladesh or Hindu Mussalman and all this thing work. Yes, these factors are there. I'm not denying that, but they were not the deciding factor. And the way the Bangladesh thing backfired in Jharkhand, that proves it a point that it was the Maiya Samman Yojana which worked for Hemant Soren. So the other day when we were talking and I said that this could be bigger than Mandal and Kamandal, and I am still sticking to that point because the way I am now reading and talking to election-bound states, every politician is talking about it, how to move ahead, how to go about this new found, discovered vote bank, which actually comes out and votes going beyond the caste and religion lines, if you do something for them. And today, in one, funny off the record chat, I came up with a term that, okay, what should we name this thing? And then probably all of us agreed that, okay, Mandal, Kamandal and Abha Mandal. So the Abha Mandal of the females, that's where it is now getting into. And this is going to change our politics for good. And I think, Tehseen is here. And I generally don't praise my friends when they are around. But, in one of those pilots that we keep on running about saying that which spokesperson are liked or disliked and like that. Now, his name was not even there in the Congress official spokesperson list. A lot of verbatims came, a lot many verbatims came in. And my people said that, okay, I said that, okay, if verbatims are coming in, just do it. It was a pilot to be seen. But I was surprised. I was surprised the way his name was jumping by. And then I started thinking, why we love Tehseen? Why all of us love Tehseen? Or why all of us love somebody even from the right side? Say, Rajat is there. You have got right people right now on the panel and other, people as well. We like people who make good points without insulting others and who are good in looking within what wrong am I doing or are we doing, right?
Yeah.
Now, the other day when we were discussing about the cancel culture and all that, the politic narrative that is going around, why a big chunk of even BJP supporters like Tehseen on the screen? Because they do not feel a cancel culture war with whatever Tehseen is saying. Even though he is a staunch Congress supporter, he never lets his guard down. He is always there batting for his party. Same goes with, to a large extent, with Sanjay as well, by the way. Tehseen's happening. So why do the common BJP voters, they feel happy with listening to Tehseen even when he is talking about Congress? Because they feel he is talking sensible. Whatever Tehseen said today, no sensible guy would say, Tehseen kya baat kar rahe ho? Galat baat kar rahe ho. The thing is, this window of communication, which the parties across the spectrum, by the way, are shutting it down by cancelling each other, by not listening to the people who are supporting or voting the other party, that we appreciate your position. And by the way, BJP is equally responsible for this. They have a really intolerable number of spokesperson. Me and Rajat have discussed this on a couple of occasions, how some of the spokesperson, when they arrive on the screen, I feel like BJP ke 10 vote aur kam ho gaya. It happens,
Yeah.
So this culture thing, somewhere it has to stop. People have to.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm so glad you made that point, because that's something we really believe in here. And hence our slogan, na chamcha, na morcha. Just, have a civil conversation, be honest, be open, and that's it. I mean, we don't have to have a breakdown of personal equations because we disagree on some issues. Tehseen, before I come to Madhavan, because I know you're a man much in demand and you'll scamper off without warning. What is your one writing on the wall for the Congress party? What is the Congress takeaway? You made general points that everybody got it wrong. There was counter-Hindu polarization, extremist ulemas were being encouraged, etc. I got that. But within the Congress, was it a mistake that Rahul Gandhi did not spend much time in Maharashtra? Was there overconfidence? Has there been complacency since the Lok Sabha elections of 2024? What are you saying to the party you support?
I've been muted again. Okay. The gains of Lok Sabha 2024 have been lost. 2024, it seemed that the opposition could do no wrong and the government could do no right. Suddenly, those gains seem to have been lost. Partly because some of the statements made by those in the opposition saying the government is following what we are saying. So that has cost the people. People don't like it. More importantly, why did the opposition do so well in the Lok Sabha elections? They did so well because they set the narrative. The narrative was, whatever the narrative was, worked for the Lok Sabha election. The narrative of the constitution in Khatre mein cannot work in a state election, because people also understand that the state election cannot change the constitution. The narrative of an industrialist may not really work in a state election. So state elections, the issues actually in Maharashtra were cotton farmers, were the soybean farmers. None of those issues were taken up, number one. Even when they were taken up peripherally, the people didn't have a solution. So to give you an example, to counter the Y factor or the scheme that Yashwant spoke about, the Maji Ladki Bahina scheme, the Congress had a Mahalakshmi scheme where they were giving 3,000 rupees. But that was a promise versus what was already being delivered. As Rajat said, it was delivered in advance and that money was already planned during Diwali. So people knew it. This particular scheme wasn't even publicized, to the extent that when I went down to Pune to vote and I told my mom, and my mom said, oh, all our staff is voting because the women's staff have got that money. I told her, but Congress is offering 3,000. My mom, who's continuously watching television, watching either Shehzad or me, and is politically aware, didn't know the Congress scheme. So Rajat is right. The Congress scheme was not publicized that they would give 3,000 rupees. Third, for every polarization, there will be a counter polarization. Be it in Haryana, which was on caste lines, where you thought a caste was winning, or be it in Maharashtra, where it was on religious lines. And the same thing happened in Haryana and in Maharashtra. The same in Haryana, a particular caste group, the chatter became, it created insecurity amongst others. In Maharashtra, it created insecurity amongst, particularly with the images of those Maulanas, because imaging is very powerful. At least in Haryana, there was no imaging. So it created even more counter polarization. These should have been stopped. But nothing's going to change. I'll tell you why. For two reasons, nothing's going to change. I will come back after Delhi. We'll say it and I'll say the same points. You might as well take an AI version of me and put it up, because the same people who are responsible, for getting Congress to zero in Haryana, defeating it in Punjab, were responsible in Haryana. They are the same people who make the report. Yashwant won't get a report. You won't get a report. जो भी होगा नाम no reports will come. No report will come. They were the same people responsible in Maharashtra. All I'm saying is the Congress misses an Ahmed Patel. The Congress really misses an Ahmed Patel. It's the same thing, the same mistakes, and they're the same people. They will not learn. I'll just one simple thing. The chief monk of in Bangladesh yesterday was illegally detained. Has the Congress even released a press release till now? What are we doing? I actually am for Gaza. I think what Israel is doing is barbaric. Young kids are dying. I think it's stupid. I think you have to stand up for innocent kids. But why are we not doing it in Bangladesh? I just don't get it. Even if you don't do it out of empathy, can we do it out of politics? And it makes me sound terrible, but at least do it for politics. Do it. Ab tak nahi kiye. When this is an issue, even if you look at it politically, you can corner the government that Bangladesh is our neighborhood, we are doing nothing. You still don't want to do it. So I am just saying that the idea is lost, and it seems very difficult for it to come. The Prime Minister made one line in Parliament: "आपके पैरों के नीचे जमीन नहीं है, पर खुदा की कसम आपको इस पे यकीन नहीं." It's the truth. He spoke the truth, and it hurts me.
Yeah. More questions for you, but Madhavan, do go ahead. It's quite fascinating. You see, it isn't only about Maharashtra. In Jammu and Kashmir, the Congress did not pull its weight in Jammu. In Haryana, I think Tehseen's already spoken about the perception that this was all about one family and by extension, one caste. JMM, it's been lifted by the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha. A very spirited fight by Kalpana Soren. I think we must give her that credit. And Maharashtra, Eknath Shinde definitely emerged, not to take away anything from the BJP, but he managed to emerge as a legitimate inheritor of Bala Sahib instead of an interloper who had split the Shiv Sena.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah, Barkha, let me, it's in a mood for civilized conversation and hopefully with some humor. So we had Tehseen beginning by saying, Zindagi Jhandwa Fir Bhi Gamandwa. And let me begin by saying an American saying that if two people are agreeing all this time, one of them is useless, and if they disagree all the time, both of them are useless. So actually, I'm in danger of being called a fool or useless, because I do agree with all the three panelists, because facts are something you cannot disagree with. But we can disagree on interpretations and scenarios, and I would like to disagree at least to keep the momentum of a meaningful analysis going. And let me begin by saying that, much as I agree with Tehseen in her own way, look at Congress strategy. That reminds me of another joke. Adam asks Eve, "Do you love me?" And Eve says, "Who else is there?" So given BJP's strength, given the organizational muscle of the RSS, given the excellent administrative track record of Eknath Shinde, all three put together, Congress had to put its best foot forward, and they thought that going with the UBT Thackeray group and Sharad Pawar was a right strategy. Now, I have a quibble saying that they should have brought in Prakash Ambedkar and taken more aggressively the Dalit active consciousness, which is actually Maharashtra is the birthplace of Dalit consciousness in India. Jyotiba Phule is from there, Ambedkar is from there. So you cannot ignore the Dalit factor. They were glossing over it. This is, in my opinion, a bigger error than the other things which will follow in my analysis. Sharad Pawar was gracious enough. Uddhav Thackeray was gracious enough after the defeat. Uddhav Thackeray said it's a tsunami, or give up. Okay, And Sharad Pawar said it's Ladki Behan that did us in, and he was on record on this. We all have discussed this beautifully.
Yeah.
Both Rajat and Yashwant said that. But having said that, let me give credit to Eknath Shinde for his leadership. And that is going to be, I said this before the election, whoever wins, there will be coalition issues. And we have already seen some of that happening over the past 24 hours. And that is something I would watch out for. And I think it's very important to understand the Shinde factor. Let me, in my own style, always draw an analogy with the cricket team of India. Jasprit Bumrah performed in Perth and Eknath Shinde performed in Maharashtra with remarkable similarities. You know, after the Lok Sabha elections, we thought everything was lost for Mahayuti. And after the first innings at Perth, we thought India was going to do badly. And Jasprit showed personal form as well as leadership, which is very strikingly similar to Eknath Shinde. Now, but this is where some of the, I don't want to completely write off the Congress and all that. You never say never in politics anyway. But let me, you know, I have a nice way of another, you know, I'm in a humorous mood, but with deep analysis. You know, Sanjay Leela Bansali made this film called Bajirao Mastani. So I think Sharad, with the Maratha agitation, which was considered to be a shadow play for Sharad Pawar by Manoj Barangi Patil, I think the NCP Sharad Pawar was so busy voting the wooing the Bajiraos that they find that there is a Mastani out there and there is Kashibai out there. Kashibai voted for Mahayuti with Ladki Bahan scheme. And I think we'll have to use these analogies to drive home the point of what is happening. There's a split wide open. But having said that, let me... Hang on. I have to finish this. I have to finish this because I want to give a comprehension. Yeah, it's very important because I don't want to, you know, sound like a party. You know, Sanjay Raut is one extreme. He reminds me of the Iraqi information minister Al-Sahab, you know, comical Ali. But we'll not go there. What I'm going to do is to have a patient analysis, which is what actually I'm behind all my humor. There's a lot of seriousness in this. You know, by-polls. Look at this. Karnataka by-elections have gone to Congress very well. Again, despite of the similar polarization strategy adopted there with Govt politics and all that. And Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, as well as Maharashtra, as Yashwant pointed out rightly, is about women. And the birthplace of this scheme was Karnataka's Griha Lakshmi scheme, which has been ably adapted and brilliantly expanded by BJP. And therefore, I want to say this again. Congress has lost, but Congressism has won. And this is a long-term prediction, mark my words. Okay? And the third thing is the Delhi University elections, again, NSUI is still in the picture. UP elections, if it is true that Congress won because of JMM in Jharkhand, it is equally true that the Rashtriya Lok Dal helped the BJP in Western UP elections. So I'm not going to jump to conclusions. What we have reached, therefore, is a state in Indian politics where every battle has to be hard won and hard fought. That is true of Haryana. That is true of Maharashtra. We are back to what I call pre-Modi politics. Modi had changed everything. We are back to normal. Every inch has to be fought and won, like Kargil, which Barkha you're familiar with. So you know, you can't take Tiger Hill just by bombing from above. You have to have hand-to-hand combat, and RSS is there to do it for BJP. Nobody is there in Congress, and therefore you have to match leadership, organization, and campaign. The irony, the dark black comedy here is that the product belonged to the Congress because of better organization and leadership. BJP has run away with it.
Okay,
Rahul Gandhi, it's all yours now.